So I was slowly but surely coming out of what Karen Gillan did to Professor Xavier in Rise of Power of X number 3. Slowly but surely, I was coming around. You guys were helping out. You was like, hey, there might be a better plan. You know, why would he just do this? There has to be some kind of reason. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm agreeing with you guys. And then Gerry Duggan decided to go ahead and put the nail in the coffin and does what he does in this book. Ain't no coming back from this. No coming back from this whatsoever. My name is Dorian. This is SCM Comics. We are continuing our coverage of Fall House of X with number 4. Now, our story starts off with Apocalypse, and he's finally back to being Apocalypse because there was a stretch where he was a little soft. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, man, Genesis is more Apocalypse than Apocalypse, but that was on Araco. Now he's back on Earth, and he's dealing with these punk ass humans, like he just said on the page. No mercy. And on the next page, we see these Stark Sentinels putting the boots to Krakoa. It's screaming whatever it is screaming in Krakoan, and everything looks bad. And all of a sudden, when the Stark Sentinels gets cut in half, because Apocalypse is showing out. He's like machines, weapons of cowards, as he cuts another Stark Sentinel's head right off. So he destroys the last Stark Sentinel, and then Krakoa is hurt. hurt. Like Apocalypse walks over and he's like, you are dying. He cuts his arm and starts giving his blood to Krakoa, and he's like, I refuse to let that happen. So now we cut to the moon. Nimrod just got finished putting the finishing touches on Cyclops' beatdown, and then he just teleports out of there because he figures the place is about to blow up, so why should he have to do all the killing? And Cyclops is cyclically talking to Emma, and you know you got your butt whipped when you can barely talk in your mind. He was like, Emma, if I don't make it back. And then all you hear is, of course you're gonna make it back, boss. It's magic. And Cyclops was like, magic is a trap. Nimrod could have killed me. Everybody reading this knows that. So the magic's like, of course it's a trap. It's always a trap. You better step out. She uses her power and teleports out of there. And Nimrod's like, damn, thought I timed that this right. Well, I guess I didn't. So our Nimrod's floating in space. Omega Sentinel's like, Nimrod, could you join us back on Earth, please? And he goes, I am busy. I'm killing X-Men in multiple places. And she's like, well, we got a visitor. And it's Professor Xavier. Yes, this is the point where this comic book goes left. Now, this hurts to read, but this is Professor Xavier and Nimrod talking. So Nimrod goes, state your business, Charles Xavier. What could you possibly offer? Xavier, my dream is Krakoa, Nimrod, not Earth or the solar system. If you let me achieve that dream, then I'll help you achieve what you were programmed to pursue. You're playing a dangerous all or nothing game. Let me put my thumb on the scale. Let me remove the mutants from your board for you. Even if I can trust you, why should I? Because I taught my X-Men to save every life they could, and so they have. Let me save my children's lives. The night of the Hellfire Gala, I acted to stop the battle, but that was a half measure. I'm glad he admitted that. Let me offer you what I should have done that night. All of mutantdom lives in peace on Krakoa, and I will not interfere in your designs, under pain of death. Even if you bend the knee, they will never accept this bargain. When did this turn into Game of Thrones? You're wrong. They shall accept it, if I will it to be so. Let me ask you something. Have you considered what will happen when you succeed? When mutants and humans are wiped from the planet, what will become of you? You have nothing to fear from mutants living on peace on Krakoa, and if that changes, then I trust you'll teach my children a lesson that they already learned, that we have limitations. So then Nimrod goes, perhaps a garden menagerie on Earth wouldn't violate my programming. He's talking about Krakoa, with the understanding that if the peace is violated, so then Professor Xavier cuts him off and goes, allow me to seal the deal with an offer. America has launched a nuclear-capable vessel. I will handle it. Nimrod goes, but you won't be able to control your former students. So Professor Xavier goes, no, I gave them the ability to reject me. The red triangle defense means they have free will. The Nimrod goes, I know the teacher must have favorites. If I agree, I will do what must be done. Professor Xavier goes, I accept. Then we cut back to Apocalypse and Krakoa. Krakoa's still not doing well, even though Apocalypse been giving his blood. And Apocalypse is pretty much like, my blood's not going to be enough. Who is willing to sacrifice for Krakoa? who's willing to give up their lives. So this older mutant from Morocco comes out of nowhere and is like, I will sacrifice. But it can't just be like, oh, I just give up my life type of deal. No. You have to fight because they're from Akora, and that's how it goes down. This old dude hit Apocalypse with like some heat vision, and Apocalypse gave him a one-hitter quitter. Like, people need to realize that this is Apocalypse, like Omega level, get in your ass Apocalypse now. And then this old dude's blood splashes on Krakoa, and then this rock monster stepped up and was like, I'm willing to sacrifice myself. So they're pretty much squaring up with each other, and one of the other mutants are like, the sun is gone nova, and the blue rock monster is like, should we do this? And Apocalypse was like, don't worry about that, that's something to do with machines. You need to face me. So whatever is making the sun brighter has something to do with Orchis and the AIs. Emma is trying to go inside the minds of the Orchis agents that's on whatever that satellite is that's going over the sun, and then she realizes that they're using the red triangle defense. And as soon as she said that, Cyclops is like, Xavier. And out of nowhere, Charles is like, Cyclops, we must talk, old friend. So then all of a sudden, they're at the mansion and at the baseball diamond. And Scott's like, it's funny. Every time you want to sympathize with me, we come here. Because you still look at me like a kid. And he's like, you're an Orchis right now, aren't you? So then Charles is like, look, it's not what you think, Scott. Please, hard choices have to be made. I needed latitude, so I made a deal. So then Scott just loses it and is speaking for the fans. Like the deal you made the night of the gala, we could have won. You got a backroom deal again and we just have to live with it. So you decide who lives and who dies. Let's cut it in, Charles. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Anyone I know? Anyone I love? So then Charles goes, I had hoped you would have understand. I won't apologize for what I've done and what I need to do. Right now, I need Orchis to trust me, Cyclops. And as they're talking, Professor Xavier is pretty much mind controlling the people in Space Force. Still can't believe that's a thing. And I remember way back in Immortal X-Men number 10, when Professor Xavier is pretty much explaining how he could have did this to everybody on the planet if he really wanted to, but chose not to. But now he chooses to, and he controls this dude to push the button, and the ship explodes. Just like that. No more humans. And before you go on to say, oh, well, Magneto killed humans and so did Mystique and a lot of other mutants. Yeah, that might be true. But there's something different from a criminal killing somebody and a judge killing somebody, or a teacher killing somebody, or a doctor. You hold them in higher regard. So when they fall from grace, it is a really, really, really long fall. And Professor Xavier is probably on the longest fall I have ever seen. But trust me, he is falling. So Cyclops immediately starts doing the red triangle defense and goes, damn you, stay out of my head. It's like it didn't have to be this way. So Cyclops is like, this isn't nearly enough X-Men, but we need to go what we have. Manifold, get ready to take us to Sentinel City. But Emma, you need to stay back. And Emma's like, I had enough of handsy men ordering me around for a lifetime. And Cyclops is like, it's not even about that. Look, we're probably not going to come back from this, and somebody needs to face Charles, and that somebody needs to be you. And the magic goes, motion carried. So the Manifold's like, I see now, a bit more clearly. I'm here to raise our sword. Breathe deep, be calm, and hang on. So then the rock monster, his name is Wrong Slide, has actually been putting up a pretty good fight. And Pocket was like, you've done well. But now he's done playing games, and he starts putting it on the Wrong Slide. Apocalypse pretty much crushes his arm. He falls down. Apocalypse goes, speak it, and it may be true. And he goes, if you see Rock Slide again, tell him for me, it was so good to be for a while. So while all that's going on, the Orchis ship that's in space that's pretty much concentrating the sun's rays down upon the Earth, all of a sudden just explodes out of nowhere. And so does Wrong Slide's head as Apocalypse pulls it apart. So Apocalypse is telling Krakoa to drink deep as all of Wrong Slide's blood goes onto Krakoa, and all of a sudden it just wakes up. So then we cut to the debacle on Sentinel City. I'm telling you, the X-Men are the one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest. It is not going well whatsoever. Nimrod is putting it on everybody. He knocks out Colossus, which is saying something because it's in his steel skin. He pretty much blasts Rogue in the gamut. He's taken out. He gets back to whooping Cyclops' ass, which he's been doing that for like 3 issues now. But then Omega Sentinel's like, there's a huge storm brewing. And then I was like, well, we are close to the sun. And she's like, it's not coming from the sun. It's coming from Earth because it's a storm. And she is all kinds of pissed off. So, you know, those were like secondary matches that Nimrod was having. Now the main event's about to happen. The storm's coming and she's bringing all of her mega level power with her. And it's going to be a fantastic last issue.